treat for you guys. We're going to let you in on our family secret shrimp Creole recipe. This recipe dates back generations in our family. My grandfather served in World War II with a gentleman from Alabama, and he taught my grandfather how to cook this meal. My grandfather taught my mother, and my mother taught me. And Sam may not be learning the full story today, but he's going to learn this thing for sure. So the way that this thing starts is, with most Cajun cooking, you're going to want to start a roux. And I prefer to use bacon grease instead of a vegetable oil. So what we have here is we've got, I just put in 3/4 of a cup of bacon grease. And we're going to let this heat up over medium heat, and we're gonna let it come to temperature, and then I'm going to slowly add in some flour, and then we'll just continuously stir. And you're going to see that it's going to take on a rich color, and the darker and richer that roux is, the more flavorful your final product is going to be. So we've got our oil heated up. We're over medium heat right now. I've got some all-purpose flour, and we're just going to start gently adding this in, and you're going to want to stir, and it's just a continuous stir. Once you start the roux, you're not going to stop stirring until you're ready to put your aromatic vegetables in. So our roux is starting to take on some darker color. We're going to continue this out. It's going to thicken, and it's really going to get a rich color, but I wanted to show you guys the transition phase. So this is, it went from basically just kind of almost just a pale white to now we're into a tan, and it's going to take on a darker brown color as we get closer to completion. We've been working on this probably for 3 or 4 minutes, something like that, and I would bet that we probably have 2 or 3 minutes left before this. Our roux is really taking on some nice color now. It's getting kind of a richer brown. We're going to let this go for just a few more seconds. You want to see it?
Yeah, brown.
See?
Brown?
Yeah. As it starts to take on that dark color, it gets thicker, and you may want to turn down your temperature just a little bit. You don't want to burn your roux, but you just want it to get that nice rich color. Alright guys, so we've got the color that we're looking for, and now we're going to put in our aromatics.
Brown right now?
So our aromatics are going to be, we've got red and white onion, bell pepper, green and red, that's just what we had in our garden, and celery. I'll put the amounts in the description. Have cooked in our roux for about 5 minutes now. They're getting nice and tender, and we're about to have to put the stop on their cooking. What we're going to add is an entire carton of bone broth. I prefer chicken, and we're going to basically put the whole thing in here. That's going to cool down the temperature, kind of stop the cooking process. Alright, so bone broth in, and then we've got diced tomatoes, 2 cans, tomato paste. So I've got my seasonings pre-measured out. What I have here is 4 garlic cloves they've been crushed and then minced. I have a teaspoon of oregano and a half teaspoon of celery seed. So we're going to put that directly in. We're going to put 4 bay leaves. We don't want to crush these up because we want to remove them after this is done cooking. We're going to do a couple of splashes of Tabasco. And that didn't have an end on it. I almost got in trouble on that one.
That one.
And a little bit of Worcestershire. I'm going to give it a quick stir. That smells so good.
So good.
So good.
Wow.
What you doing, Sam?
And cut.
You're cutting what?
Okay.
I'm going to put the okra that you've been cutting up in our deal.
Oh.
Yeah. We're going to get the okra in there. We're going to get the okra and then one last seasoning.
Okay.
We've got our slap your mama. Tony's is also a great choice. This is the more spicy one. I'm going a little less spicy on this batch, and so we're going to tone it down just a touch on this batch. But we'll put an initial we'll season a little bit here at the beginning, and then at the very end we'll re-season again if we need to adjust it a little bit. We're going to add in our sausage. This is a Cajun andouille that I've got that I've cut up into little small, like about 1-inch pieces. This is raw, and so you want to make sure and put this in early so it has plenty of time to cook. It wouldn't be shrimp Creole without the shrimp, and so what we've got is we've got 2 pounds of Gulf Coast shrimp. These are peeled and deveined. I like to put the shrimp in at the very end because they have such a high water content, they're going to shrink quite a bit. So what I do is I basically get my Creole completely finished. I cut the heat off, and then I dump in my shrimp. And shrimp will cook at a pretty low temperature pretty fast. And so what we'll do is we'll just stir those in. We'll cover it. The heat's now off, and we'll let it set. And I'm going to let this set out long enough so that it's going to come back to, you know, a cool enough temperature to put in the refrigerator. I think that this dish sets really well overnight. I feel like all the flavors kind of mingle overnight, and then tomorrow we'll eat this for dinner, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing, isn't it?
More sausage.
You want more sausage?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sam's already been eating some sausage out of it, and it's very good. Huh? You like it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Creole is looking amazing. You know that your shrimp are getting done when they have that orange color to them. So we're going to let this set, cool down, and tomorrow we'll eat this for dinner. We like to eat it served over rice, sometimes with a side of French bread. It's an amazing meal. So here we go, the final product. What I'm looking for is a nice deep red color and something in every bite. You don't have to worry about this being a watered down soup. It's meaty. Gonna have sausage, shrimp, and all kinds of veggies. It's very rich. It'll warm you up on a cold day.